perspective. I've full transparency. I have not done my research on this one yet, so Sheets is going to be carrying the heavy load. But I'm still gonna say my little plays. I've got a little cheat sheet. I got friends who always recommend plays. They send it to me every week. So I've got a couple of guys in there that are maybe going to be off the board. I haven't even checked yet to see if that's happening. But we just got back. We're ready to get into it. Sheets, what do we need to know about this tournament? Anything about this course? Anything we're looking for specifically?
So I did a really long video last week about how I think we should be thinking about PGA DFS golf, especially with the Sims and all this stuff and things like that. And I was debating with myself and people in the chat, as far as projections and how accurate they are and models and how accurate they're. Just to kind of recap for everybody, the things that are very, very tight with respect to PGA DFS is actually ownership projections. The ownership projections are usually really good across the industry. And the more places I draw from, the better the aggregate looks and the better my special tweaks look and whatever. That actually is kind of important. And I am actually a lot different than a lot of people. So I really, from watching results and watching whatever, yes, there are low-owned plays that get there, but I feel the projections and the models are so freaking sharp. Like I don't know how they do it. I mean, I don't know how like these random $7,600 guys go up 30% owned and just go finish 8th. Seems like all the time.
It seems like every time, right? Yeah.
It seems that way to me at least. So
yeah.
I'm and what's interesting from a content perspective is that as data-driven as the sport is and how the models are so based on stats, that when it comes down to actual content, there's a lot of people. It's a lot of narrative out there. You know what I mean? They're like, well, I knows this, but I'm just not playing XYZ here. Or this guy won this tournament 11 years ago on his birthday, and this year it's on his birthday, so we're going to take a shot there, whatever it is. So I'm actually pretty tight with respect to respecting the projections here. But I think it's a good combination of your and my take. At least this, I want to say early. It's early. Even the tournament's already tomorrow. But as far as my research and updates, it's early because I just ran sheets and projections. I haven't really looked at anything else. And over the course of the day, I'm going to do like external research and do more lineup builds and stuff like that. But we're going to go through it just like we used to, where we're going to go through each tier, and we're going to go through who we like, in each tier. And again, this is not like a lineup build thing. This is not anything else. This is just based on, number one, my projections and Bobby's just like knowledge of the golfers and instinct and his other information, who we kind of like. And this is not necessarily who we're going to end up playing. And again, it depends on what, how lineup construction works. I am going to do another video at some point today where I kind of put all of it together and show you how I use the Sims and all that stuff. But this is going to be just kind of a combination of our stuff. Now, it is a cut event. Last week was a no-cut event. And as I mentioned, it's a different dynamic. In the no-cut events, it's really, it's stars and scrubsy because you could play scrubs all day long because you're not worried about them, missing the cut, But here, you have to be a little more discerning with who you play at the bottom because if you miss the cut, you're toast. So let's just go through. I'm sharing my screen here, so let's just do it. We're going to go through each tier. Then we're going to go through our favorites from each tier, and then we're going to have a little contest to see if we can't figure out who's going to win the tournament, who's going to finish top 5 from each tier, and we'll just have some fun with it. So right now, it's listen. Like if you went to sleep in a coma for like a year, what if I told you woke up one day and Ludwig Aberg is the top salaried guy on the slate, but if you have been paying attention, totally know why.
Guy, if you've watched him, you know why.
He's just been freaking just drilling it every which way, and he's just totally locked in. But who do you like as far as the top the 10 coming up here?
So for me, it's kind of weird because the top 3 I feel like are all very strong. I think that just the fact that you get maybe a slight. It depends on where you. I'm having a hard time getting the feel for the ownership. I'm looking at a couple different things and sort of having a hard time trying to figure out whether.
Well, I'll save you the trouble. So one thing I have to mention is that the ownership's kind of tight, and as I look now, it's really spread out. I mean, there's nothing I have that's over 25%. Like the whole board.
Yeah. So I was trying to figure it out because based on that, but then I just started thinking like look, I like the top three guys. I think I would go Fitzpatrick, Aberg, then Hatton for me. And I just think the fact that Sahith is going to be, I probably much lower owned than the projections have him, because I just don't see people playing him over these guys. So I think Sahith is an interesting tournament dart, but I would go Fitz, then Hatton. Sorry, Fitz, then Aberg, then Hatton for me.
For me, I actually have both Hatton and Aberg as very, very strong plays. I actually have like a group of 4 who overall, which I like, and they're from different price ranges. But here I do like Hatton and Aberg the best. And then pretty decent drop to Fitzpatrick, and then a pretty big drop to Theegala, which, as you so perfectly point out, is going to result in him being much lower on. But I do like Hatton and Aberg. I also think that, you could probably build without them, but and I haven't really done a full lineup build yet, but I do expect that one of these guys is probably going to be in most of my lineups.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's probably. I think that's what I've got as my note here. Is I'm probably playing one of the 10Ks in a good portion of my lineups, if not all of them.
All right, 9K and up. Who are your favorites?
Okay, so the ones who stand out, and again, without having done enough research yet, Russell Henley is going to be really popular. I do like him. Eric Cole is going to be pretty popular. I like him a lot. Corey Connors is going to be pretty popular. I like him. I'm going to be lower on Brian Harman, and I will probably. I guess I'd probably hold. I mean, look. There's some temptation in me that just wants to say, okay, you know what? I can just call it a day, just play Zalatoris and Matsuyama with whatever else I want to, and nobody's going to have that. But there's a reason for that. Zalatoris has played less golf in the last 3 years, I believe, than Tiger Woods on the PGA Tour. So that's obviously a concern. Matsuyama, we don't even know. Who knows if he has a bad first day, if he's even going to stick around. But I kind of like the idea of getting to a little bit of the Matsuyama as my get different play. The Henley, Cole, Connors, and Kirk are the logical ones that I like the best, and in that order.
I will repeat exactly what Bobby said. I like Henley, and he's going to be really high owned. So if you don't want to play him, I totally get it. If you run Sims and you don't get as much of him, that's fine too. The guy I have next is, and nobody seems to want to play anymore because he's priced really high nowadays, but Brian Harman. It feels like awkward to play him at these types of prices, but been doing pretty well. Yeah. So he's like my second best guy, and this what I figured would be your favorite play. But the only reason I don't think you came up with him is because you don't know what happened last week. So last week, I'm just guessing. Do you know what happened in the golf tournament last week?
I know a little. I know what happened the first 3 days. I didn't pay attention on Sunday.
The winner was Chris Kirk.
Was he?
He won, and now he's 9,500, and nobody's going to play him because they don't think he can win twice in a row.
Right.
And I know that's something you like to do sometimes. Like, listen, why is no one going to play him? Just because he won last week, he's playing well.
Yeah.
So, but I'm getting Henley as my top guy, and then Harman. And then the next guy I actually have is JT Poston.
Yeah, and I think those are all those guys all make plenty of sense to me. Any thoughts on just like the taking a shot with the Matsuyama or Zalatoris here? Is it too?
Zalatoris, I'd love to see something first,
right?
Before playing it.
Well, and that's why I think I feel a little better about Matsuyama, because the thing about Hideki, like we've seen him literally he missed like 3 cuts in a row, then won the Masters once. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like you can any time out of the blue, he can be the best golfer in the world. That's something I might have to do. All right, that 9K range is pretty loaded. I like a lot there. Down in the 8Ks, huh? Do you want to start this one off? Because I'm struggling a little bit.
So Benny Ann was the ultra hipster play last week, and he completely smashed for all the hipsters. They thought he was going to be like, but it was funny. It was like everybody thought he was going to be like 6% owned or whatever, and then everybody was saying no, he's not going to be. Everybody's going to play him. He's 15%, and he went off at 6% anyway. And he still smashed. It was like pretty strange.
Right. That's crazy.
But now he's 8,700, a little harder. But I have him rated as the top, 8K guy. But then the other guy who was really popular that really just crushed people's souls was Cameron Davis. But you know what? That's what you get out of Cameron Davis.
That's right.
So I'll go back to him, and not that he's going to be unowned either, but I would go back to him.
And then I'll go back to a guy that we haven't seen in a while, which is not usually what you're supposed to do earlier in the season. You want to see guys that whatever. But I don't know. I have Steven Jaeger as my next guy. Let me just see what he's been up to. Yeah, he hasn't played since November. And that's definitely not the best. But you can't have everybody be a great play, I guess. I don't know. So, I mean, I'd rather play him than Justin Rose, for example, who I have them rated exactly the same. But yeah, so I like Steven Jaeger along with the other guys I mentioned.
This is interesting because my little bits, the guys who I had notes on, and one of them was from a friend of mine who knows this stuff a lot better. Just literally lives for golf and never misses it.
Well, who do we got? Who's this guy's? I like this.
Well, it was Denny McCarthy, which is, I mean, they're not like way off the board, but Denny McCarthy and Keegan Bradley, like he'd like them as potential to win the tournament.
Okay.
So I'm kind of interested in those two. And then I like Siwoo, and I did have Cam Davis as a note here. I was aware that he wasn't, about his failings. And he has a wide range of outcomes. He's probably still going to have some ownership. That's the one thing I don't love. And it looks like Justin Rose is going to be really popular. I don't know if I missed something on that one.
No, I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of guys that are like between 12 and 18 this week.
Yeah. It seems like that makes a lot of sense. Might be an interesting tournament to try and maybe find some cheaper stuff just to differentiate your builds, because all of these guys are going to be everybody you're spending for, or maybe even leave some money on the table. If I know you like you said, it is really well done with the projections and everything. But I'm sort of trying to think about different ways to build here, because it does seem like you're going to have everybody basically over 8K is going to have some ownership outside of like 3 guys. Anyway. All right. Down in the 7,500 to 8K range. I guess I can start this one off. I like Aaron Rye a little bit. Andrew Putnam, Adam Svensson, and Akshar Bhatia. I think the chalky one is going to be Brendan Todd. And those are the 4 guys that stood out to me from 7,500 to 8K.
Yeah, Bhatia is my hero. Bhatia in his he was like the cheapest golfer in the whole field last week. He was like 6,200 or something like that. And he was awesome. The guy who, again, like someone's going to end up being 30% this week. I don't know who it's going to be, but somebody always is. And it's usually the guy that rates like highest for me, like under 8K. So right now I have Adam Svensson at 7,700 at like projected ownership 18%. So I'm going to predict that he's the guy that's 25% or higher.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm just guessing.
And he's coming off of a solid performance last week.
Yeah. And then, the guy who's the other guys you mentioned Brendan Todd. I'll just throw 2 others in just because I have them rated higher. I do have Matt Kuchar at 7,800. Mm-hmm. And then the other one is JJ Spawn at 7,600. And neither of those guys are that chalky. So
I like that, Spawn.
You don't have to play Spence. You know what I mean? Like all these 7,600 guys can get there. That's my analytical take on all that.
No, that's fair.
And I'll tell you this: I don't think you have to play Brendan Todd either.
Yeah. I don't think you know what I love Brendan. Like whatever he did really well for me when I first started playing golf stuff. But I don't think you ever have to play Brendan Todd. He's not even if he has like a good run in the tournament, he's not like a high scoring guy. He doesn't string them all together. He's very consistent. You know what I mean? He's a little different. You don't have the wild range of scoring like you do with my man like Patton Kazire or something. All right, do you mind starting the 7K to 7,500?
I am. I will start because this is my play. All right, so I have very little under 7,500, which is rare. Okay, I have 3 guys. I'm just staring at them. They're all rated the same, and all 3 of them look to be 5% owned or less. And people I've heard of or played 2 of them. And the third guy, it's literally the first time I've ever seen his name mentioned on any slate. So I'm going to select him as my favorite. And that would be, of course, Ryo Hisatsune. So he's going to be the top play under 7,500. The Ryo Hisatsune from Japan, not having played since November. Oh, look at this. So he's played on the World Tour. Oh, excuse me. He was 6th in the Zozo Champ. Okay, so people know who he is. All right. So he was 6th in the Zozo, played mostly the World Tour. You watch. He'll be 15% owned after all said and done. This is crazy. But The guys that I have there right next to him that I think people are going to be a little more because they've heard of him before. Taylor Pendrith, 7,200. Matt Wallace, 7,300. I guess those are both logical guys, but I'll go with the Rio. The Rio Hisatsuni just for the bit, so to speak.
Yeah, I will be. So because of the lack of ownership, just because of the style, you know, with my belief in the style of golf, I am going to probably be overweight this range and maybe slightly underrate the ranges above
I like it.
Just because I think it's the right, you know, I don't know, just from a game theory standpoint, it makes a lot of sense. I like Ben Griffin.
Sure.
Ben Griffin, I mean, I actually like I think a lot of guys here with potential, but Griffin is probably my favorite along with Justin Suh. I will definitely make a note of your Rio. My third favorite is Nick Taylor, followed by Patrick Rogers and Emiliano Grillo, which, by the way, if I play him, that means don't play him because I never, ever get him right. Cheats has gotten him right a couple times. Yeah. I have literally never gotten him right. And every time it's the week after or the week before that he goes nuts. So I don't have a good feel for Grillo's. And not only that, he's literally like cost me a fortune by just, double bogeying the 18th a couple times and missing the cutoff by a stroke. That was pretty provoking. The other one that I had a friend who suggested was potentially Eric Van Rooyen as a value option this week when I got a note, and that's I just want to throw that out there. I didn't see anything on him myself, but that was just something that I was told, so thought I'd throw it out there.
And of course, and wait for it, here it comes. And I hope I'm the only one to come up with this week. If your lineups lose and you go 5 for 6 and everything else smashes, you know what you can always do? You can always blame it on Rio. Thank you very much. There it is. All right. Moving on. Below 7K, you like anything here?
So I have a few things. Both of the woos, Brendan and Dylan, I think are interesting. Again, we're just more of an ownership thing and the fact that they're super cheap. Oddly enough, one of the guys who projects, who actually looks like he might get a couple percent ownership is my guy, the General. So I have to at least mention his name. Whether I end up using him or not, I don't know.
Well, and for those of you that don't know, you may as well tell because we have had a lot of subscribers since the last time we did golf.
That's true. The General is Patton Kazire, and that's Sheets' is a nickname for him, which obviously you know where that comes from. And then Ryan Palmer, Davis Riley, Doug Gim. All of those guys I don't mind, but I don't have anybody who stands way out. I was going to ask, did something happen to Johnny Vegas?
Yes, I think.
Did he have an injury of some sort that I'm missing?
No, I don't think so. Actually,
why is he 6,600? That's a little. That was the one that stood out as sort of caught me off guard the most, I guess. But I haven't really done the research yet to speak to it. That caught me off guard, and so did Joel Dahman. Had a really rough year last year after the. He was everyone's darling after the thing they made on Netflix. I think Joel Dahman is interesting enough at 6,300.
All right, so I have one based on the sheets and numbers, and the other again just because boy, what the hell is this guy doing at 6,300? That type of analysis, or whatever. So the top guy I have is KH Lee at 6,900.
Okay,
he's the top guy I have, and I guess not surprisingly he's 6,900, not much lower. They don't have too much else, but I'll just scroll down and you mentioned Johnny Vegas, 6,600. I mean, listen, I talked about him a lot last year. I don't want to play him, but
I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah, but you got Kevin Streelman. Sense. I mean, so and he had a couple of performances last year.
Maybe that's the theory this week. I always like to try and figure out the name game sheets. Remember, you thought it was Joel Dahman, but it was Patton Kazire. It was
the attitude guy. That's right.
The attitude. Now they're both at 6,300. We can play them both. The sheets,
6,300. Yeah.
The bad mood guy and the exact opposite of the bad mood guy.
Three straight cuts and layoffs since November. That's rough. I don't know if I can do it. But the Rio I can do.
I did forget to mention one thing. I'm always overweight this guy. I just want to throw him out there. Carson Young, 6,200. Okay. That's the one I actually think that I probably will have the most interest in, along with the woos. All right, so now we get to play the game.
So if you wanted to build a lineup with our site-based narrative plays, right? It's got to have to be. We'll play Rio. We'll play the General. We'll play Zalatoris and Matsuyama together, right?
Yeah,
has to be the case. Probably Thigala, right? It's got to be
That
the
was the other
10K
one.
guy. And then we can't play 7,800 guys. We have to leave money on the table. Ooh, you know who I haven't played in a while? How about my Kevin Mitchell at 7,500 or Grillo? Oh, Grillo's the one, right? He's the one that we can't get right. So
Yeah.
So this, if you want an actual lineup that no one's going to play, that I won't either probably. Like this is like the true DFS lineup. You know, like
Love it.
these are guys that we've lost like infinite on, and
Yep.
you know, so there it is.
Yeah.
All right. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go through and we're going to review and we're going to pick different things. So first, we're going to say number one is who is going to win the golf tournament of any price. And I always think about whether we want to like do something different or whether we want to just pick the winner in this, or do we want to include ownership? You can handle it however you want. I'm just going to probably, I don't know, I'll have some fun. Maybe I'll try to be different. I don't know. All right, I'm going to say who's going to win the tournament. I'm going to start off with being. Now I'm going to start off being chalky. I'm going to say that Aberg is going to win the tournament.
Okay, that's fair. I'm kind of glad you did because I'll say Fitzpatrick.
Okay.
But again, still being fairly chalky. I
Okay,
guess.
now under 10K to get top 5.
Under 10K to get top 5. For me, I like all those guys. I'm gonna say it's probably the wrong answer. Now, I guess I'm gonna take the chalk here and probably go Henley.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna. And who'd you pick to win the tournament?
I picked Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, I don't think I can do this one. It's such a ridiculous tournament for him to perform well in. I'm thinking of doing it, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna go. I am gonna dip into the 8Ks to do this though. I'm gonna go with Cam Davis.
Okay. See, I kind of think I wish I would have done that because I kind of like those players.
Well, I was really considering going with Hideki. You know, like it's so dumb it just might win. You know,
right?
So let's just keep track of this. Wait, so Davis, Aberg, Fitzpatrick. Who's your favorite under? And who'd you say under 10K? Henley. Okay.
Yeah, I said Henley, and I'm now going to jump over to the two guys who I really like a lot. I want to say I'm a huge Denny McCarthy guy in general, but I'm actually.
What are we doing now? Under 9K?
Under 9K, top 10.
Top 10. Okay.
But I'm actually going to say Keegan Bradley.
I like that. I really like that actually. I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna dip below again. I think I'm gonna do it.
I love it.
I think I'm gonna go with the Boccia.
Oh, all right. Top 10.
Guys, 0% body fat. Guy's insane.
All right. So then we get into the
under 8K top 20.
Under 8K top 20. I don't want to take the chalky one. I'm going to say Ben Griffin.
Yeah. So top 20. I listen. I got to pair up my lineup a little bit. So I got to go a little chalky. So I'm going to go with I am going to go with Adam Svensson.
That would have been my chalky one as well. And then we need the under 7K to make the cut. So I guess you only had your one guy, right?
Yeah, just for the brand, I'm gonna go with KH Lee to make the cut.
All right. Hey, I never minded. I always feels like he's like among the leaders in day one at least. I thought this is it's probably the wrong thing, and I probably need to do a little more research. I definitely will before I build, and I'll obviously post all that stuff in the Discord and on the website. But I'm going to say the extremely overlooked and unowned Carson Young.
Okay. Ooh, I like that.
Just to get way off the board. But if I'm going to have to play as much Kazire as I do any of the under 6K, 7K guys, because the time where he actually projects to be like, one of the guys who's owned under 6K, which is not owned more than 2%, but still, I'm going to have to take that shot.
So, all right. Wait, one other thing. How about a guy over 9K to miss the cut?
Oh, we have to do the over 9K to miss the cut. That's right.
There's a lot of real easy ones to pick from.
I guess I say Zalatoris, even though. Ugh.
Yeah. I'm gonna go. I guess Thigala, I suppose.
Ooh, I like it, Cheech. You were bold with some of these takes today.
Yeah.
10K to Gala. That's totally reasonable though. All right. Well, it should be a fun one, guys. We got a lot of DFS stuff coming up.
Yeah. Just so you guys know, so this is what's back. So there's been a 3-week hiatus or a month, even it seems like a month. MMA is back this week. So we'll be doing full content on that. There'll be 3 videos on that. There'll be DFS part 1, which is the plays video, betting breakdown on Friday, and then DFS part 2, which is completely lineup construction. We have tennis, which is the Australian Open coming, so I'm going to start putting up sheets for that. Listen, depending on my time, maybe I'll do a video or 2 for that. We'll see how it goes. And then we have, you mentioned that we have Brandon that joined us to do a couple of things, but I presume that I think probably not till February, but I think NASCAR is coming sooner than later. We have Saturday football. We have no Thursday showdown, right? But we have Saturday football. We have Sunday football. We have Monday football. Yeah. And they made it possible to degen all kinds of different combinations. There's a 6-game slate. There's a 2-game slate Saturday, a 3-game slate Sunday. Plenty of ways to lose your money. Plenty of ways to invest in good DFS.
Well, it should be a lot of fun. And one thing we didn't mention is as we were doing this, I got a message. We have DFS Chan who's got the stuff coming up. So he said he's going to be ready. He's pumped up to do a bunch more content.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we're going to have DFS Chan doing.
What's he going to do? Is he going to do soccer also, or just LOL?
I think we're just talking LOL right now. But he said let's talk about some other stuff. So we're going to probably have a call tomorrow. I'll let you know about that one.
And I'll tell you something else. I thought of doing a live stream tonight, but I can't. First of all, the slate's over, whatever. But no, because tomorrow is actually my birthday.
Oh.
I will be around though for content for my birthday. We're not going out for dinner till later. But so tomorrow, if you guys want to stake me on Stake Kings, tomorrow would be the day to do it. Not today.
Lucky Sheets Day. All right, I'll definitely make a note of that one.
Okay.
All right. Well, all right, guys. Good luck to everybody this weekend, and we'll see you for all the other content we've got. Don't forget to like these videos, and see you in the